Settle out, settle about, be myself, be yourself, be yourself. Deep breaths, so much processing today, but that's good. Hi, hello. You always know that you're in for a little bit of catharsis when you have the audible. This video is going to touch on everything. It's going to be a lot of ranting, it's going to be a lot of possibility, but I promise you there will be no gaslighting because I'm not doing that to myself anymore. So I'm not going to do it to you. Now I think about it. Do I still do that to myself? Probably. But I'm getting better, and that's all that counts. Hi, I'm Willie, and I'm up early. It is snowing outside, and it is kind of a very beautiful day. It reminds me of Little Women outside, the Winona Ryder classic version that I talk about all the time. So, what's my quote for Little Women today? Amy goes, he would laugh at our actions and then poke fun at us later. And now that's very sobering because I think about that's pretty much putting any kind of content on the internet. And that's meta, and now we're gonna get started. So big news around here is I'm doing all these house projects. Our house is going to be featured in the newspaper. So, I want it to look its best and not a depression hovel. So besides all of those banal but validating projects of touch-up painting and using spackle and lime washing and buying a new rug, there's also this idea in my mind that I really want to curate my plants and pare things down and maybe even add some stuff. They're potted plants. They're all marching towards death somewhat.
If you live in my house.
But first I'm going to show you one that is going well, and I want to feature. And I've shown this before, but this is my Alocasia Mickey Mouse. And this is quickly becoming a real favorite around here. It does need a little bit of water, I think, but I'm watching it really close and not letting it dry out. So many new leaves since I got it. And this is one of those plants that I finally followed my own advice, and I didn't repot it in such an extreme way. I just don't do that well with alocasias. I've had a lot of them. They're like my favorite plant right now. Let's be real, it's probably tied into the psychology that I can't get them to grow and that they always die here, but I enjoy having them around and it's very aspirational. So, of course, when I'm at the store, that's where my eye always goes. And I think, wow, I could just try it one more time. And we're dangerously close to talking about the definition of insanity, which is trying the same thing over and over again and hoping for different results. But obviously, with a little bit of luck and keeping the same soil that you bought the plant in, having a little better luck with this one. If you're watching this and you don't have an Alocasia, and especially like a Frydek or this Mickey Mouse, one thing I will tell you that I didn't know is that a lot of times when they get a new leaf, they start kind of killing off their oldest and biggest leaves. And in this case, it was grown in a greenhouse in optimal conditions, so it had these really, really beautiful big leaves. But the smaller ones are coming in. They're still looking pretty decent for my standards, so that's normal. And I thought that was worth mentioning because it seems like they're cannibalizing their own leaves, and I think they are, but it's like they need a meal or something, and necessity is the mother of invention. There's another deep cut Little Women quote for you. This is probably the most validating thing for the last 5 years. But I purchased that Alocasia Frydek around the holidays, the variegated one, and I'll link the video and you can revel in what it used to look like, and then now you can see what it's like today and the faint glimmer of hope that is, this is, I don't really need to give it so much prescription, do I? Yeah, but this is a variegated Alocasia Frydek. That's what's left of it. And it was one corm in the soil and started having real issues, and it was starting to root rot. So I took it out of the soil and I put it in a vessel of water. I've been very diligent about cleaning the water, I guess changing the water, and then I kind of cleaned the plant really carefully. Even used a soft brush when I first got it. And it seems to be working because there is a new leaf emerging at the top, and there's all these little micro roots coming in on this corm, and I believe there is another one, another corm coming in at the bottom of that bulb. So we might have some new variegated Alocasia frydek action happening here. I think I overused the word exciting, but I do get excited by like a lot of stuff. So this one is actually exciting to me. I have data, I have proof that it is getting better. Coffee is strong. So it's probably not a big secret that I really enjoy decorating and space crafting. And this idea that living in a big white box is kind of like my philosophy for bringing these dissonant elements together to live in an environment that I see as sort of the artistic sentiments of my life. And that sounds like slightly grandizing, but you know, I've been in therapy for 2 years, and my own reality and how I think is kind of all I have. It's where solace and disillusionment exist and kind of collide. And as I'm leaning into it and trusting myself more, I'm really, really enjoying that idea. So I wanted to show you one of the things that I knocked off of my to-do list that I think turned out so nice. So come with me. I'm going to go handheld and show you this. Okay, so these doors used to be painted white. And recently we decided to paint them teal. And I am really loving it. And again, that artistic expression support via color choice to my favorite artwork in the house. So a few videos ago, I did some really heavy lifting into these plant chores that I have been putting off for a really long time. And they were, to be frank, emotionally distressing because the plant was my Hoya rope. It was my favorite plant, hands down. It was heritage. I kept it alive for almost 5 years, and I'm really going to miss it because I didn't survive the process that I did. And that was really, really extreme. I knew that going in. I want to take a moment of silence for this plant that is now going to the compost bin in the sky. I can't and don't anthropomorphize plants because it's very bad for my mental health. I'm trying this new thing in life. I'm allowing myself permission, like I am self-anointed, that it is okay to complain. I'm really liking the results of just not feeling that tinge of guilt after I say that something sucks. Just sharing that is it seems it's hard because like I want to be like really pleasing, like I want to make everybody feel happy, or I want to make a joke, but this isn't a joke. It's not funny. It's my life. And maybe that's your life, you know, is like trying to find all these pieces and figure out where you got this misinformation that you know, you can't complain about anything, you can't say that you're struggling with anything, and you have to be constantly towing this imaginary line. That's not how I want to live my life anymore. The internet is a cesspool and a dumpster fire. Sharing is caring. You know, and when I look at the periphery and then what's behind, I can't think of one time that when I was talking about that kind of stuff and being critical, that something wasn't hoisted up as an example that someone had it worse. And that is always true, and someone always has it better. So like in the middle is like where it's at. So yeah, interesting, right? Very interesting. Here, I'm gonna show you something else that I think is sort of stuck in a holding pattern. I think I always kind of downplay anything that's going good so that it won't be used as ammunition later that I'm boastful. That's not as fun to talk about, is it? This is my Thai constellation Monstera. It's been pretty mercurial, and it is kind of followed the whims. The good, the bad, the ugly. This here is, if I can get it to focus and not crack it off, is the newest leaf. Came in pretty healthy, sort of star shower variegation, I would say. And the old leaves are holding in there, and we have no pests. That's a really good one. That's a really nice one. Pretty diligent about giving it a lot more fertilizer, and I'm hopeful that by the summer we're going to get some real good growth. I'm also bold enough to say that if it doesn't start bringing it, it's gonna get replaced. I am about to head out on a trip, and that always makes me so stressed out. and I'm traveling solo. And that even is like a whole nother level of emotional baggage, because you know what? I really can't even break it down what it is. I don't know what makes me uncomfortable about traveling. It's like getting to the destination and then I'm excited about it, but at the same time, I just can't handle it because I can't control anything. And that's very hard when you have an anxiety disorder. I feel like I'm given super agoraphobic energy in these videos, but I travel pretty frequently. And it's one of the weirdest things because I never get better at it and I never get more comfortable. And that's weird. So this trip, I'm trying to, be aware of that and make it like a little more fun or like a little more facilitated. And I'm gonna get my packing done early. The flight takes off at like 7 a.m. So that's like a whole nother level of stress. But, I'm going to take it in stride. And maybe that's like the thing. Man, my plants are sucking today, I gotta say. And that's not even in like a bid for attention. This tricolor Hoya still holding in there after the very extreme treatment that the Hoya rope got. But it does have some dead leaves. And I'm going to pick those out right now because, they're gross. But we're going to see. I don't know. This one is on the edge of a knife. This one's really good. I have to show you this one because we kind of need like a compliment sandwich of like something good and something bad. But yeah, the Anthurium veitchii, I mean, literally, if it's just a few inches from my head, like this. And I'm excited there's a new growth point right there. So a new one is coming out. And yeah, that one I'm loving. So highly recommend the Anthurium veitchii if you haven't had great luck with anthuriums. Because I had an Anthurium fingers, and I also had, which I called the Freddy Krueger plant, which I thought was so cute. And then also, because I just said that calling something a Freddy Krueger plant is cute. And he was a monster that haunts dreams and is a predator. So now I'm getting out my soapbox, pretending to climb on top of it and talk about these houseplants as a whole and this wall as a grid of emotional integrity. It's okay if plants die, and it's okay if you want to throw out everything. And I'm pretty much making this as a creed to myself. It's going to be my birthday in a few days. And breaking this down, I kind of love what it's taught me, and what's working and what's there is pretty great. But I also feel like this new sense of liberation. I'm just going to throw these plants out today. Vulnerable. This is fun to show because it's like a plant, but it's also a decor item, and it feels very like The Great Gatsby. But this is a swan vase. It's called a trumpet vase, and look how pretty it looks with fresh flowers in it. Best wishes. I think I can get it down. Oh, yes, I did it. Okay. And now I leave you with this philodendron moonlight is making a flower. And it's the first time it's ever done that on this plant. And I think it's very strange. Here we go. Yeah. I feel like I have an itch to scratch. I think I'm going to go back on Instagram. I want to use Instagram to share some thoughtful and curated moments, and I feel like I'm emotionally solvent enough to not get into the doom scrolling that is short form content. We're going to see, and if I actually get back on the horse, I will link it, and that's kind of all I got. Thanks for hanging out with me. Thank you for being witness to my feelings, and as a semi-effective part 2 to sad and difficult plant chores, today went pretty good, all things considered. Take care of yourself. I hope that you're having the best week ever, and I will talk to you so soon you won't even miss me. Okay, bye.